I'm ready. So I'll start off with, I got my notes of everything. We'll start with my visual replacement therapy. You didn't get, you may have got, no, I don't think I sent you the picture of that, did I? The notebook picture?
I don't think so.
Pretty much in layman's terms, I mean, I have it all strategically mapped out step by step. Except for there were 2 holes in the steps that I skipped because I didn't want to explain them, but I don't think they were important. They might have just been off ramps. So visual replacement therapy is using all those analogies that pertain to your body, feeling like other objects, such as my eyes feel like bubble or potatoes, or like I used to say my heart feels like a rose and my eyes are the concrete, and that's the rose that grew from concrete. Or like I can't see my ears and eyes right now.
Okay.
That's a visual replacement therapy. I'm literally modifying the particles in the air through communication in quantum physics to make their mind think that things are not as they truly are. So stemming on from that, unless you want me to stop for a comment.
No, go ahead.
Stemming on from that, it's like a subcategory. I have drawn hormones as if they were emotional perception, or I have drew hormones as if they were emotional perceptions behind the eyes of the viewer. I have like 30-some drawings that all look like they're masks, pretty much, is what they are. They're just on paper. And they're kind of weird, but that's how I was feeling and what I was seeing while I was hallucinating during those times. And
okay, so this is a lot of reflection.
Yeah, but like now I'm not feeling that way anymore because of the eye surgery. So like now I'm able to collect on what the hell happened, and it's only taken me a week to organize everything. Like I finished it today. I actually made a category for all that weird conversation called visual replacement therapy. The masks are more of a hands-on replacement therapy, and the visual replacement therapy is actually kind of dangerous because someone who's depressed probably doesn't want to know that the nighttime looks like chocolate because that'll make their depression worse.
Right.
Okay. So like I have to be careful with the communication of the part of that therapy. But the masks, pretty much what they are is they're like ink blots that you would ask a patient, what emotion does this make you feel like? Now, whether the emotion that has to do with the over or under production of chemicals that I was feeling, no matter how slight, might be perceived differently through someone else. So I can't really name these pictures as, well, this is anxiety, or this is depression, or this is anger. You know what I mean? I can't name those. It's just a matter of what these patients actually feel is correct.
Right, open to interpretation.
Yes. So I think that's all of the visual replacement therapy. Well, no, because there'd be a third part of visual replacement therapy, and that would be, honestly, I believe it to be a fact that practicing closed-eyed meditation fixes all mental problems in time. It's completely harmless, but we won't teach our children at age 8 how to reboot their brain like it was intended. I have seen pictures of the brain in a meditative state of enlightenment, as well as felt it myself. You can't imagine what it feels like to literally have no thought at all. So you've got most of society that's not practicing Buddhism type relationships and meditation, like Americans, the Christians. They're not practicing closed, deep-eyed meditation. Now, you don't have to sit in lotus position to meditate, but the point of meditation is to breathe through your nose as long as you can with your eyes closed and not swallow for about an hour. So repeating that because it's kind of a weird thing to say. You have to breathe through your nose for an hour without swallowing while your eyes are closed. And then over time, what will happen is you'll end up hallucinating and you'll see your energy field or your soul. And your energy field comes from your feet because it's practicing meditation. When you sit in the lotus position, it actually numbs your feet, which represents a feather, and you feel like you're floating. And then the other two things that you need on a spiritual level are music, which is physical, but you need smoke from like incense, which represents the air you breathe, as smoke or cotton or concrete, things that are white so that they don't distract you. Because if you're not thinking red is white, red being your heart energy, which has a lot of different emotions tied to your heart. But my son taught me this red is white. He was literally 8 years old and he told me red is white out of nowhere. And it's actually very, I don't know if he knew quite what he was saying, but so understanding what red is white means helps you try to stay out of that mesh of colors that gets into your emotions and makes you feel different ways, because colors can make you feel emotions. Like, to me, orange makes me feel comfortable. Purple makes me feel like I want to dance, etc., etc. But that's open to interpretation too. So, like, I'm not even done yet. So I did write my books, which have a lot of this visual replacement therapy in it. But it's organized as more of a glorifying using drugs, because I feel that that's the kind of the effect that it gets out, like drugs were fun or something. And I don't know if I'm giving the right message in my books, or my first book. The second book, The Banana Peel, is actually just a bunch of weird stuff written down that were my theories, and I've never even read it. I just wrote it, and it's just sitting on my desk. And you can buy it online. But my other book, I changed the title to Dinosaurs Don't Need Mirrors in Space. And dinosaurs don't need mirrors in space because I can't see my ears and eyes, which is a joke I made up. So with that, I think my visual replacement therapy, and I think that's everything that entitles with my theory of the replacement therapy, that should prove to America and all other countries that are actively practicing mental health professional fields that spiritual psychology is an important area of psychology. Mainly because the media says all sorts of weird things that mimic visual replacement therapy, and you hear most of it in rap music. Does that make sense?
I don't listen to rap music, but okay.
Well, they say a lot of, you've never heard any rap songs, like on TV, a little here and there?
I try not to.
Yeah, well, you can't spell crap without rap. But they say a lot of weird stuff, just like I do. The only difference between me and them is they use a lot more verbs than I do.
Okay.
So with that visual replacement therapy theory, I can actually go into the DSM-5 with every single criteria for every single diagnosis, and I could write it and imagine myself having that and rewrite it in a visual replacement therapy context. I did that with the schizophrenia one. Well, no, I didn't. I only did it with the autism one, and I did it a long time ago, but Mr. Cosmic, he lost it. So I rewrote it again this morning. And that's where I got my whole explanation of everything that's happening. Like, that's how I thought of visual replacement therapy, was by rewriting that essay. So, and the only autisticness that I have is with my speech, because I don't talk and I don't feel comfortable talking like normal civilians do when they have small talk. I don't find it entertaining, and I'm just not good at small talk. So I talk on a psychology, emotional level about problems. What ends up happening when I conversate, and I feel I'm wrapping it up, what happens when I conversate is you know too much psychology when you can't get mad because you understand everyone's reasons for doing everything. So with that, like, the DSM-5, in my opinion, is obsolete now, but how long am I going to have to sit on this theory before I get recognized? Because number one, because of this whole theory, I lost my children. I don't know how court's going to end up when I present this to the judge, because I don't know how much you understand, how much the judge is going to understand. And I'm going to have her just watch this video because I can't keep trying to explain this to people. And I'm happy that you allowed me to do it on YouTube so I can have that reference about, here's all I know. Like, if you got questions, ask me, but I don't want to repeat myself. I don't like visual replacement theory or visual replacement therapy theory, because it's not really a therapy yet, it's just a theory, so I have to specify it as visual replacement therapy theory. So, like, this is what I've been doing, all of this, everything I said today, except for the weird things I said, because I've said those before, all got written down in the past week. I literally have 40 pages in a new textbook where I'm trying to define new terms that I've made up. I'm taking 2 or 3 words or phrases and I'm adding them on a list, and I'm defining them on how I think structured behavior through socialization is seen, felt, and pretty much sensed on all levels of senses. And I want to use that for a textbook for a college course in spiritual psychology. Don't know what the name of it would be yet, because I don't feel this is an introduction to spiritual psychology. Technically, subconsciously, I've been studying spiritual psychology my whole life because I've been practicing closed-eyed meditation. And because of my brain damage in my brain, where I don't know how to process information properly in my emotional center, because you've got, like, when I process information from reading or hearing it, it goes into my audio cortex where I hear it, and then it goes to my Wernicke's area where I process how I want to, or no, where I process how I understood the information, and then it goes to my Broca's area where I process how I want to relay the information. Then I use my emotional cortex and my frontal lobe to process the words and what words I want to use in what order, and then speak them out my voice box. The only problem is, from cracking my skull open at age 2, I ended up damaging my Broca's area. Like, near my Broca's area, I got a scar the size of a 50-cent piece. And we all know scars don't grow. So pretty much, in layman's terms, from what a girl taught me one day, years ago, I don't know how I think I want to talk.
Interesting.
So, like, I'm glad I got this all put aside and, like, ordered in a video. And, like, it's written down. It's not organized like the video, but maybe one day I'll have somebody type everything out. That's important, because I ain't doing that. But I have the definition, and I can read the definition of what I have, but you're not going to understand it because I only understood it as I was thinking it for the first time. In order to analyze what I would have to do, I'd have to go back and read it in depth.
Okay.
But and I'll leave out a part that's about private parts, just because it's video professionalism. So, visual replacement therapy examples. I can't see my ears and eyes right now. The night sky looks like the night sky looks like chocolate. And I'm just gonna say it, but vaginas look like bubblegum. Feet smell like mustard. My heart is a rose that grew from concrete because my eyes are the concrete. Take the cotton out of your ears and stick it in your eyes. I have eyeballs on my fingertips when I dance with my hands moving at a rapid speed. I can feel colors, and they each cause a different emotion. Not everyone is the same. So those are my examples of visual replacement therapy that I thought were the most important, and I didn't think too deeply about it. But in my conversation style, since I lived with these hallucinations for so long, because all these hallucinations like this that I talked about started after some guy told me to take the cotton out of my ears and stick it in my mouth. I was completely sober when he told me that, and for some reason that statement made me start hallucinating. And that happened about the same year I got divorced. I was in the NA program trying to stay sober or something, and he told me that. Well, we know on a normal level it means listen, but I actually, for some reason, my brain thought, well, when I smoke marijuana, I feel like I have cotton in my ears, like I can't hear that well because it kind of lowers my hearing ability. Well, I'd rather be able to hear, so I'll take that cotton feeling out of my ears of me not being able to hear. Or if someone boxes your ears, you're not going to be able to hear very well for a while. So it's going to cause like a deafening sense of like cotton. It's the only thing I can describe it. So I'm going to take that out of there, and I'm just going to put it in my mouth. And then I realized that if I use it as put it in my eyes, I can keep my eyes white, which represent a clear sense of reality without hallucinations, which would be an analogy for that. So like, that's what I've been dealing with. And like all media practices saying weird stuff, especially rap music. They just use more verbs than I do. Now this is the purpose of the theory, this next part. I have this in 3 parts right here. I have that second part about the media practicing visual replacement therapy because it got used against me in court, trying to make me a dysfunctional father. I was talking about it too much. I will admit that, and I'm sorry that I didn't have a place to put it so I could access it when I needed to. Now I can access it because it's actually, my theory's done. This therapy's purpose is to excel the patient's mind to notice the warm and cool colored feelings produced by their energy field that grows from their feet. Through practicing closed-eyed meditation, and to learn how to use the theory of quantum physics to replace the positive or negative particles around them or others to create positive energy by replacing feelings in their eyes and other body parts to a positive state of mind. And then I wrote, never mind the air, and then I signed my name. Like, is that everything? Like, I have to be done. This has to be a closed door to where I just have people ask me questions, because I've been tired of trying to push an issue to people that don't know what it is. So if I ever mention visual replacement therapy and they want to know what it is, I can say, if you really want to know, watch a video. He hung up.
This Nick.
I'm sorry. I don't know if I hung up or not. Hello?
We're reconnected.
Oh, okay. So you caught everything I was saying. So now this is closed, and I don't think I have anything else to say that's not like, I mean, I'll still think of ideas for my book about like consciousness patterns and stuff on how to solve problems or whatever. But the whole theory of this weird wonderland stuff that I've been talking about, this cartoon speech, so to say, is over. So like, is there any way you have any connections to help me get some answers on what I'm supposed to do with this besides sit on it and wait for somebody to notice me?
That might take some pondering. Golly. It would take somebody probably in the field of psychology to look at it a little bit and see what reactions they have, ask some questions, and determine.
My only problem is I don't want people stealing my theory, but I don't think anybody could, honestly. unless they were to try to reconstruct it into some other sort of mechanical conversation. But I speak in colors a lot when I talk about this visual replacement theory. So I don't think most people are prone to being able to talk like that.
I would be surprised.
I don't like it. I don't like talking like this. I think this is a horrible, disgusting thing to talk about. But I know that I've met people in mental health fields that they talk like this too, but they don't know what it is. I've met plenty of people in mental health fields in the past 16 years that were patients in mental hospitals with me that talk exactly like that, and they don't know what it means because they hear it on the radio in their music. And they get mentally ill from it. Somehow they're not able to distinguish that it's not real. It took me years to realize it wasn't real, and the only thing that saved me was getting eye surgery. Otherwise, I'd still be stuck there in that place, not knowing the differences between clear vision and the hallucinations, because I didn't even know that living in a yellow haze, having objects have a yellow haze around them, I thought that was normal because of practicing meditation. So how many people that are schizophrenic and bipolar just need proper training to stay off of meds? I forced myself to not take meds. I said, hey, if I'm not going to sleep, I'm not going to bitch about it. I'm going to stay busy and I'm going to do something. I've been on meds for 2 months now and I sleep every night. And if I don't care. I can handle life not sleeping for a day. It's not a big deal. Sometimes things happen in your head and you can't sleep. Don't cry about it and cause mental problems for yourself. Just stay busy. Figure something out to be okay with who you are.
Then move on.
Exactly. So I honestly feel I reach spiritual nirvana. I'm to the highest point of spirituality and meditation that I can get to. So I don't think I'm going to meditate again. But I've been meditating for 18 years now. I've been practicing this.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel there's any more, like, I don't think I'm going to get anything. I mean, it will still reboot my brain. But I'm a little afraid hallucinations will come back because it does cause it can cause hallucinations. So I don't want to go in there and meditate and then come out hallucinating. And that, I mean, but that kind of shows to people that it's a bad thing. So, I mean, technically, if a mental image, you know what a mental image is, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Isn't that just another way to say it, a hallucination? It's just a different degree.
I think it's your mental image is how you correlate what you can make sense of.
But when you say image, you mean picture. You're putting a picture in your head. That sounds like a hallucination to me. I've never seen a picture in my head. When I close my eyes to sleep, I see pictures as I'm trying to sleep, literally.
Oh, okay.
You don't see you don't see pictures when you try to fall asleep? Like part of your dream opening up almost?
No.
Really?
No.
Are you sure?
Last I checked.
Oh, okay. Well, I have kind of opened up my mind for 18 years like creating pictures in my mind through meditation, because when you get to that enlightened state, it creates a picture eventually. That's a 360-degree translucent picture. So, I mean, if you've never experienced that 360-degree translucent picture in your head, then, I mean, you've never actually been able to open up your mind to cause a mental image that represents something that you see that's not there. So maybe there is a difference between you saying, have you ever reached enlightenment?
Oh, depends on how one's going to determine that.
When your head felt completely empty, like you rebooted your brain like a computer.
Probably not.
Okay, so maybe people that don't practice closed-eyed meditation don't have mental images that actually say what the word should mean. Like, mental image means hallucination to me. But to you, a mental image is just you using your thought. I don't even know how to describe that. Like, you're still supposed to be able to picture in your head what it looks like, but you're not actually being able to see it. Even if it's a little bit out of the corner of your subconsciousness, and it's just a millisecond of a millisecond. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I figure an image is how you're going to make sense of what's going on.
So, like, yeah. But I'm able to take a mental image and hold on to it for as long as I want, and it'll actually create a hallucination.
Okay.
And there are people that happens to, but they don't know how to control it. But I practiced meditation for 18 years. I can control doing that if I focus long enough on actually bringing up that hallucination or that mental image. But I think you still have mental images or hallucinations, which we're just gonna come to the terms that mental image means hallucination, and it's a synonym. But yours are probably so short that you've never noticed them before.
Oh, potentially. Okay.
I can hold sometimes they happen to me and I can't control it, or it used to, and I'd get stuck there for days. But now I'm pretty sure I can. Like, I thought of one earlier about my thoughts being objects. Like, if I'm thinking about an apple, there's an apple going through my head, and I know that's not real and it doesn't last, but I was able to hold on to it for long enough to be able to explain that. And then there's going to be other things that I hear on the radio that are weird that are going to cause mental images to pop up in my head too.
Sure.
I mean, I've heard rappers say strange things. It's almost similar to what I talk about. They just make it last longer in a whole song, and they say a bunch of them really fast. That sounds cool to music. Yeah, I mean, you hear Fleetwood Mac, you've got that song that says, "Mirror in the sky, what is love?" Like, she's saying the sky's a mirror. So even back then they talked weird. "The Sky's on Fire" by Jimi Hendrix, or "Light the Night on Fire" by Jimi Hendrix. Like, you can't light the night on fire, but he's creating a visual replacement therapy phrase to have people think a little weird. Does that make more sense now?
Okay.
So, like, that's what all that stuff is people have been doing. But there are people that are mentally ill that get mental images that turn into hallucinations that last for days or hours or weeks or months, and they can't make it go away because it creates a lucid feeling of like their energy's off, whether it's not enough energy or too much energy. That's all I gotta say. I think that subject was, unless you got feedback.
Still seems like someone within that field of psychology would probably be.
In what field? What field do I go to that's going to even claim to know what I'm talking about?
That's a challenge. I don't know. I'm thinking it may be a little more correlate what you're expressing to what's out there and how it might be able to be blended into or incorporated into the field.
If I lived in a country that had spiritual psychology other countries do, they have spiritual psychology as a degree. All I'd have to do is go take a class in spiritual psychology and talk to the teacher. And he'd be like, "What the hell did you just say?" Like, "Okay, we'll publish your video on a website or something like that." Like, but in America, nobody wants to talk like that. They want to listen to music like that, but they don't want to actually practice what it's actually trying to do. Because we're so prone to living in greed that we've forgotten how to take care of our own minds. We just act on the first thing that happens. Maybe not you, but I mean, look at America. We don't look that healthy of a country, honestly, when it comes to treating each other the way we should.
Yeah, you probably got a point there.
So, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to see my psychiatrist today, but I have a half an hour, and I'm just gonna like, I don't know how to talk to her in half an hour. Like, we can watch the video, but like, I don't know. I just honestly, like, she can't make me take medicine. I mean, I'm not gonna flip out. I'm not even gonna talk that much because, like, I don't want to talk about it. I have a video about it. I'll say I made up something called visual replacement theory. You want to listen to some video? Like, I need someone to pay attention to this and try to get me published somewhere to get this thing noticed so things happen. I know I don't have credentials, but you know what? I think I've said enough in my video to make you actually think about me being correct. At least I hope. Like, I hope I'm not just sounding like some crazy dysfunctional, delusional lunatic. Because that's what I've always been treated like.
And maybe that's the first step is someone within the profession to look at your information and react to it.
I guess I could try to find people online and email them. I mean, they have classes in California for spiritual psychology. You just can't get an actual degree in it.
Okay.
So I'll look at that video I have saved on YouTube about spiritual psychology. Like, I watched a few minutes of it. After I heard the guy say the soul's the #1 thing ignored on the planet, I got pissed and I turned it off. So I don't know what else he said. I just went from the fact that they can't see their soul. What the hell is wrong with them? And I just went from there. And here we are today, and I got the door locked. I got the fucking key. I don't have to go in there anymore unless I need to. But it's hard because that was my whole life. Like, I literally was stuck in that place and couldn't leave. I guess I'll start there. I mean, if you've got any ideas, I mean, I can share the video with Wayne if you give me permission to email him.
I don't have the power to do that. I will have to ask.
I mean, if you honestly believe I have something here, like, get me permission to share it with Wayne and, like, actually back me up when you tell him that I got a video I want him to watch that we talked about, like that you're talking with me on. That way it doesn't seem like one of my old crazy days when I was just running around talking about things and just coming back the next day to talk about more weird things without really any explanation or wondering what the hell, you know what I mean? I was disorganized then. But I got it organized now, and, like, that's my story.
All right, I'll see about that.
Okay. All right. Well, I gotta go. I do have to go see my psychiatrist today, so I'll do some things with her, and I just don't know right now if me talking to her about this is good because I'm trying to get released from mental health board. So, like, maybe I should just act and talk about normal things so I get released, and then we can tackle this later. But I don't know. I mean, I've talked to her about things before, but I don't know how much she believes me because America looks at spiritual psychology as a mental illness, apparently. Well, or at least talking about it. But so, all right. Well, I'll let you go and let you kind of ponder what the hell happened on this video. I'm gonna title it. I'll send you the link in case so you have it. Okay.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
That's it, dude. Like, I ain't bringing this up again.